Just who are you?
I'm Bob.
And you do what?
Among other things, I work on doing an annual UFO conference where the object is education and disclosure.
And what do you think is going on now as far as disclosure, where we're heading?
Look, we have all this talk now about the Navy footage that's been released, that leaked out, showing obvious UFO activity, right? And they're touting this as it's some kind of a disclosure. It is absolutely not a disclosure of any kind. At best, it is an affirmation. Okay, this is old news. There is nothing that these videos demonstrate to us or show us that those of us that have been studying these things for decades, we've known all this 40 and 50 years ago.
And you first got into this in 1952, right? You told me that?
That is correct. Yeah, I started studying these subjects in 1952.
So you're a perfect person to tell us how things felt back then up until now and where, like I said, where we might be heading.
Well, look, there is a lot of talk about disclosure, right? When it's all said and done, the government isn't going to disclose anything. They're already setting the foundation to backtrack, shut it down, dismiss it, move it sideways. Okay, next, right? They're going to dismiss it, hope it goes away. Nothing will come of it. Now, the real reason nothing can come of it, because the reality is that the United States government, our elected officials, they don't hold these secrets. They genuinely don't. They don't have the security clearance to know about these secrets. It's above them. It's above their pay grade. These secrets are held by the industrial military complex and the ruling elite that control those people directly. Okay? So it is buried so deep, it's buried within layers and layers, and you're never going to pry it out of them. It'll come out of their cold, dead hands. That's the only way it will come out. Real disclosure has happened here at this conference this week. We have a great man named Ray Hernandez. He has been part of the Original Free Foundation, founding it with Edgar Mitchell and a few other key people. Ray and Edgar Mitchell and these folks have quantified what they call the contact modalities, the means, the methods with we, human beings, interact with other intelligence. What is other intelligence? Let's take a step back. Do you guys believe that the universe is infinite? When I asked people this question 55, 60 years ago, most people even then would say yes, but they had to really think about it. You ask the question to people today, and they pretty quickly come to that yes, because scientifically, the farther out our scientists can look, the more we find. The universe just continues, right? So when you say, is the universe infinite? Most people say, yeah, I think it is. Yeah, it is. So what is the only possible purpose of an infinite universe? It's not a trick question. I've been asking people this question for decades, right? Very few get the answer right. I don't keep them in suspense for long. That's not the idea of it. So eventually I just tell them, the only possible purpose for an infinite universe is, drum roll, infinite life. It's so simple. It's like your hand in front of your face. So we have a universe teeming with life. Most of it much older than us. Most of it has been around much longer than this little speck of humanity on this little ball of dust we call Earth. And a lot of it is coming by, right? They all have their own agendas, okay? Agenda is prevalent. Hierarchy in the universal scheme of things is prevalent, all right? In the hierarchy, we're at the very bottom, but we're about to break through. We're about to be given the opportunity to join with all of this other life, to become aware of it. and to begin to have a dialogue with it. And a lot of it out there really wants to help us along and help us move forward. But we are still our own greatest enemy, right? Because people on this little ball of dust still seek power and control. People want power and control over you and over me and over every other peasant. They consider us peasants, serfs, right? And that's where they want to bring us back to, by the way, the controlling powers that be. They want to break us down and bring us back to ruling class and peasants and serfs. That suits them just fine. That's the way they'd like to keep it. It's in our hands. It's in our power to bring forth true disclosure. True disclosure happened here all this week. We heard from scores of people that have intimate communication with our visitors, right? They're not all talking with the same visitors. Remember, the universe is infinite. We have hundreds, if not thousands, of desperate species coming by this little ball of dust to take a look at us, and sometimes to say hi, and sometimes to go a little bit farther, to maybe even actually have a desire to help us move to the next level. So this is what's going on right now. It's kind of, in a way, in a biblical sense, the ultimate struggle between good and evil, right? Not that I'm equating it to that simplistic of terms, because it's not that simplistic. But there is a kind of a similarity when you want to put it in a little box to think about it. And we have a tremendous opportunity right now to go forward. So real disclosure is not going to come from the government. The government doesn't honestly have the answers to disclose. They don't. That's the very first reason it won't come from them. But beyond that, the real disclosure occurred here. We heard more about what is really going on with some of our visitors and the human species from the people that spoke here and disclosed from the heart their personal interaction with some of our visitors. Real disclosure occurred here this week. It was a week full of it. Full of it. People just have to open their eyes and their ears and pay some attention, right? That's all they got to do. Now,
the one argument I always make, I said, I think we can get answers among ourselves from whatever's interacting with us, but for the masses, I think they do need to see whatever government data that, so far we have not seen it, but I think the masses need some amazing video of a craft making a 90-degree turn or something like this to open their minds, because most people right now, in my opinion, are not coming to conferences like this. They don't even want to talk about it still.
Well, look, their concern is keeping bread on the table, a roof over their head, right? And the people that are in control, they know this. That's why they want to take us backward, because the more we are dependent on them, the more we have to come to them with our hat in our hand to get a bowl of rice, right? And they'd be perfectly happy to get it back to that level, right? Where our only concern is survival. If your only concern is survival, you cannot think about the bigger questions about who you are and what a really powerful being you are and how important you are to the whole universe and to all the teeming life that is out there, because they'll keep you under that thumb forever. It's perfectly fine with the controlling, ruling class. They have no interest in ever letting you know how powerful you as an individual are and how you are this close to taking the steps necessary to actually join with all that teeming myriad life that is in the universe. And we're this close. You know, I believe that the number of people that it will take to tip the tide is so much smaller than anybody suspects. This is what I mean. Group mind, right? Human beings are such powerful creatures. We have no idea how powerful we are. We have within our souls the ability to create from thought, from our belief, our emotions, our passions. We can create things, manifest them, and make them happen. It would not take a very large number of us essentially coming together with a common purpose and demanding that they come down and assist us, demanding that they come down and show all of humanity that they are real and that they are here. Can you imagine the paradigm change that alone, that basic truth? That's why they're so desperately trying to hide this, right? Because when all this comes to the forefront, it's not just robotic craft flying around in the sky. There is intelligence behind all of these craft, all of these visitors. There are actual beings, intelligent, live, breathing beings that understand that we've all been created by the same creator, right? That's the unifying thing that we have with all this other life, that we recognize that and they recognize that. And all we have to do is to have a certain number of, a finite number, a much smaller number than anybody really believes. If we can get together with like mind, like purpose, like intention in our hearts to ask them to help us move forward, to come down and show themselves, you know what? They will. They won't simply do it on their own, right? It's kind of not allowed, okay? But if we ask for their help, it is allowed. So the number of us that it's going to take to ask for it is so much smaller than anybody can imagine. It's still a huge number, but we don't need half the planet to come to this reality.
What are you thinking number-wise? Any idea?
Well, look, Stephen Greer, Dr. Stephen Greer, goes out and does contact exercises with UFO intelligence. He can go out with 20 people that he is taught to have like mind, like belief, a like heart, a like intention. An intention, right? Single biggest thing. A good purpose with good intention. And he can take a group of 20 people and they call in craft regularly. Craft show up. I mean, this is documented. It's attested to by scores, hundreds, thousands of people. He forms these groups of 20 to 50 people. They go out to a remote location in the middle of the night, and they almost always have craft come down to say hello. So you see, the numbers to create the intention to make these things happen is genuinely so much smaller than we think it is. It just is going to take somebody that can unify us, unify our hearts and our thoughts and our intentions to the same genuine calling, if you will, same genuine belief and request from people's hearts, that they come and show themselves, and they come and openly begin to help us, right? That's all it's going to take. And then I don't care what the government, what the power elites that control everything here, I don't care what they want to do. They're not going to stop that. And that's what I believe will ultimately be the real disclosure. It's going to originate from us. And we have this power now. We have it. We just don't know it.
And just for the record, you think whoever's visiting us, probably not everybody here has our best interest at heart?
Look, you're correct. Out of all that myriad life that's out there, we have a book out there in our book and tape tables. It's a little book, it's 40 pages, right? And I've been telling people here all week that the one book you don't want to go home without is this book. And it's called Hierarchy of the Universe. And it really explains to you how that big universe out there kind of functions, right? And yes, you are so right when you say this. All life out there, no matter how advanced, right? Even the most advanced of life, in a way, has its own agenda, okay? They all have their own agenda. Now, a lot of the times their agenda and ours can be simpatico. but a lot of times it can't. And there are actually some groups, I don't think they're large in number, but there are some civilizations out there that would, if not do us outright harm, use us and abuse us. Okay? Those types still exist. They are out there. Not everyone, because they have survived eons more than us, not all of them are pure and altruistic. They all have their own agendas to one degree or the other. But overall, most of them want to see us move forward, move up, take our rightful place in the universe, and become part of the galactic family.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm older than dirt, man. I'm older than dirt. I'm going to be 78 soon.
It's great. Yeah. Thank you for the conference. It's been great.
You're very welcome. You're welcome.